Welcome to the Coop with Kit. My name is Kit Hoover, and I have been lucky enough in my 30 years in this business to interview some of the most iconic, badass women out there. We all know that girlfriends give the best advice, and they're all coming to the Coop. We're talking career, marriage, kids, sex, aging, all of it. I truly believe we are just hitting our stride. All right, my chickens, let's get into it. Tracy Anderson is bringing balance to the Coop today. Don't we all need that? For over 25 years, this fitness pioneer has been transforming the health and wellness landscape with the Tracy Anderson Method, helping millions of followers across the globe reconnect with their bodies and, yes, even enhancing their sex lives along the way. Booyah! Now, she's worked with some famous names that you may or may not have heard of: Gwyneth, J-Lo, and Madonna. No last names required. Even more fascinating, though, than her approach to fitness is the woman behind it all. We go deep on her conscious parenting philosophy, her journey through overcoming toxic, abusive relationships, and the incredible story of her 9 marriage proposals. She is so lovable, culminating in her unexpected path to finding true love again. Tracy begs us to throw away those damn checklists that we all have and discover that true strength comes from embracing every part of our journey, loving ourselves wholly, and appreciating the bodies we've been given. And most importantly, here we go, finding liberation in aging. Here, my chickens, is the one and only Tracy Anderson. There you are.
Okay, got it. Here I am. How are you? I haven't seen you in so long and you look so amazing.
Oh my, wait, who is this little puppy with you?
Look at my baby.
Who's this?
This is my new baby. I have a lot of dogs, Kit.
What kind is she?
She's a mostly Pomeranian, but she also has a tiny bit of miniature husky in her.
I know you've probably already named her, but I want you to name her Paul Newman with those blue eyes, like the devil.
Oh, right. Oh, Newman would be very cute, but her name is June.
June. Look at her. How many dogs do you have? Who was the other one that came in?
Oh, you might want to ask me that on the program.
Are we recording? Roll. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wait,
no
Tracy,
kidding.
look at you. Okay, first of all, how cute's Penny? I love seeing you as a mom. But Tracy, isn't that what it's all about? Like, look how cool Penny is.
Penny is, yes, she is so cool. She is the light of my life, as is Sam. Sam, her older brother, is going to be 26.
So you and I are similar. So I have a 22, 21, and then a 17-year-old. Isn't it cool, the dichotomy of the ages? How's it different for you with both of them?
I was a really young mom when I had Sam. So I was 23.
Wow.
And I was becoming like that person that was going to share things, outside of my immediate world. And because I was building and researching, I was staying home with him, but then I would make sure that I built him the most amazing choo-choo track come morning, right? Yeah. We had like a closet under the stairs and we made this whole like world under there. And I felt like I could really like play with him a lot because I was such a young mom. And then when I had Penny, I had so many years of already becoming who I am in my career. And to the point that I was already serving so many people that relied on me as part of their well-being practice. So I think I was just a lot more serious, and it was such an amazing reminder to hold tight and close the things that make you really human, the things that are the most magical. And so as Penny has aged, I have made it a point to play young again. Like, I want all the friends over and I'm like, what are we going to do? Is it an art party? Is it a Taylor Swift party? I took a ton of her friends to the Harry Styles concert. Like,
you will never regret all of that. Like, that's the good stuff. And we're going to get into all of this because I love talking about parenting and motherhood, especially for such an icon like yourself that has built the most unbelievable business from scratch. Literally, you are the fitness pioneer. But to have a baby at 23, do you ever laugh, Tracy? I mean, again, at 23, like, I was barely combing my hair, I think. Like, here,
yeah, no, I really, when I look at my son, who's going to be 26, and I'm like, Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm still nurturing him and he's still becoming and exploring. And I just think I was a child, I didn't even have my adult brain. But that's part of the system that I can't, I try so hard to participate in evolving us out of, because
Yep.
that system, I grew up in Noblesville, Indiana, and it was like, get married, have a kid, like as fast, it was like a checklist. And I did fall in love with his dad for sure, but I like that we're evolving.
100% and learning through all of it. Okay, wait. So we start the Coop with everybody that comes on. One word to describe where you are in your life right now, Tracy.
Oh, wow. Uh, I would say right now I'm the closest to a pure awareness that I've ever felt in my life.
I love this so much. What do you mean?
Yes, I feel like we come into this world under our parents' roof with a set of checklists, right? And then we go to school with a set of checklists. We go to church if your parents send you with a set of checklists. It's like you come into this world with so much intuition ingrained into you, and almost immediately you get distanced from it, right? And one of the things that I somehow intuitively knew 25 years ago when I was doing my first research project was that to get people the balance that they desire in their body and that feeling of feeling comfortable in their body, I had to return them to their body that had been pulled so far apart by all of these checklists, right? And so as I've stayed very focused to my craft and to the research and lived also in the culture, because I am a community girl too, for me to do my job well and actually make the difference that I care to make in the world, I have realized that it is very important to contribute to bringing people really home to their somatic selves, like that we are able to hear our body. And so I've been doing a lot of research and development in that area, getting people to actually hear their body. And because I've been doing that, and I have always cared to walk the walk, and it has been the most healing thing for me and brought to light so much awareness to where I can calm down, I can hear my body, I can make choices, I can remove myself from the chaos of the world. And I haven't lost that sense of myself or my compass.
I know you got a big birthday coming up in March. I'm actually 54. Tracy, I love aging. It is like I'm coming a little sliding sideways. I'm listening to this body that's saying, hang on. But it's so much fun. Do you think part of why you feel like that is because of your age? And now a word from our sponsors. Have you heard of Olakai? When I kick off my ridiculous high heels for Access Hollywood, Olakai is my go-to footwear. I found them when I was searching for the best flip-flop that also gives me the greatest support for my high arches, which has been impossible for me to find until now. Olakai is a super cool brand known for their anywhere aloha spirit and Hawaiian roots. They make shoes for every type of occasion. And now this includes the most comfortable and stylish pickleball and golf shoes. Hello. My favorite part is that the heels naturally go down to make every one of their shoes a slide. How genius is that? I promise you will love anything you get from them. And for Coop listeners, free shipping on any order at olakai.com. That's OLUKAI.com. Use code COOP and get your Olakais delivered ASAP to enjoy the summer. Mahalo. Coop Chicks, I am so fired up. I have discovered the most fabulous new female-owned botanical skincare line out of Nashville, Tennessee called Imogene & Co. for company. Using skincare products from natural ingredients is more important to me than ever. And Dr. Allison Brennan, the founder of Imogene & Co., is a trained pharmacist and has formulated products that I have never experienced before. They smell amazing, and her products cleanse, nourish, and hydrate. I seriously have noticed an incredible difference in my skin since using Imogene & Co. I am currently obsessed with their Glow Vitamin C Serum. This is the most potent and natural vitamin C serum I've ever used. It helps build collagen and bye-bye crow's feet. Equally, I really love their Revitalize face oil. I slather it on to start and to end my day. Give Imogene & Co. a try. Go to imogeneandco.com. That's EMOGENEAND co.com and use Coop 20 for 20% off. Ladies, are you like me and have looked everywhere to find your favorite white tee and tank? Well, look no further. I have found them at Aaron Gray. This will be your new go-to favorite white t-shirt brand. Custom designed in my hometown of ATL, Atlanta, and made of pure Pima cotton from Peru. You will never take it off. This pre-wash and pre-shrunk material is exclusive only to Aaron Gray and no annoying tags. How great is that? I am so happy and I feel so good every time I put these on. I have finally found my go-to tee. Aaron Gray is 100% women-owned and operated and gives 10% of profits back to cancer research every year. Go to aarongraydesign.com. That's ERINGRAY design.com. Use code COOP20 for 20% off. And now, back to the Coop.
Yeah. Well, first of all, looking at you, because I have known you for years, you're so gorgeous and you are legit reverse aging. So you're doing all the things right, clearly. I mean, I certainly feel a sense of groundedness in you and an inherent sense of kindness and someone that cares so much to connect. So I don't think that you can really connect to others in a meaningful way if you're not connected to yourself. So I do think that with aging, being connected to yourself is the key.
I think you're right.
You know, I will look in the mirror and I've got a 12-year-old daughter and I'll be like, okay, so all right, this is not like where it was before or this or that, in my face, or I've got, these wrinkles like here and here.
Oh, yeah. Wait till the jowls, honey.
I know. I have a lot of light on me right now. Okay.
I was looking down a menu. I'm like, look up when you look at a menu.
Oh, yeah.
That's a trick I can give you. Look up, Trey.
Oh my gosh. My children love to do the thing where they like zoom in and take the photo of me where I'm like, I'm like, I'm like, okay, then I'm going to go get a facelift. And they're like, no. Don't go get a facelift. You don't need a facelift. I'm like, well, I'm going to get a facelift if you keep taking photos of me like that. I agree with you though. Like full stop. I agree with you that it gets better. I mean, I still get my menstrual cycle regularly, but I know it's like coming for me. And even with people talking about perimenopause or menopause or all of the things, to me, it's like that great Rumi poem. It's like the guest house. Meet each challenge at the door laughing almost. Let it come in. Let it do its thing. I think that I'm not afraid of it, basically. I'm not afraid of aging. I'm also not afraid of having wrinkles. I'm not afraid of skin changing and collagen leaving and all of the things, because I think that one of the biggest disservices that our society has done to itself is say that youth is somehow much more beautiful than aging, and that wrinkles can't be gorgeous and beautiful, and that skin should even be looked at in a way that is really not connected to the nature of who we are, how we love, or how we see beauty.
I was just saying to a girlfriend, I was like, here's my deal. I'm not chasing youth or beauty. I mean, probably a part of me, but I am chasing endorphins, or like that feeling of when I feel connected to my body. Even if I'm just walking outside, or I love to play sports or whatever I'm doing, that's what I'm chasing, that feeling. Now, do I like to try to look halfway decent? Yeah, that makes me feel good. But yeah, I'm not chasing that, because you know what? You're going to lose.
Yeah, like that's the thing that I feel my heart kind of aches for the people that, look, I'm all for changing whatever you want to change in you, if you've really thought about it, if you really have dug deep and it's coming from a place of not, again, like not top down, like you don't feel home in something and you've really thought about it and it's for you and nothing else, then fine. But I do see a lot of women who that's not the case. They're just doing the things because they have subscribed to society telling them that youth is beautiful. And then they don't look like themselves anymore. And they also don't look young, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the irony of it all.
Yeah.
Let's go back to your childhood, Tracy. I love that you grew up in Indiana a certain way. Like, what was your childhood like? And what was little Tracy like? Like, have you always been driven and know what you want?
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Yeah, little Tracy was painfully shy.
What?
Painfully shy. I was so shy until fifth grade. My dad was an artist. And when I was in fifth grade and I had to do a book project and mine was Charlotte's Web and my dad drew the most amazing book. We had to wear the poster board like on stage with like little ropes. And
I love Charlotte's Web.
Everyone, yes. And so I think that was where I finally sort of felt confident. But I have a beautiful mother. She was a ballerina and she took all the stages by storm in our community theater. She was like the lead and everything and beautiful and magnetic, amazing. And I just looked up to her with like awe but I was very shy and she was also really adventuresome. And I always kind of had a little compass of cautiousness in me. I was careful. I was very careful. I was not wild. And then...
Oh, we would have been friends, Tracy. I would have dragged you all over
I know,
that
in high school.
We're fixing to get in trouble.
No, in high school, we would have totally been friends because when I got into high school, I got wild. So I was way over the shy and I loved to be in nature. So we didn't live in like the popular subdivisions that all my friends lived in. We lived like a little bit out in the country and had goats and sheep and all kinds of things.
That's awesome.
We had one bathroom for 5 of us and no air conditioning. So I just remember like doing my hair and makeup for school, like sweating in the summer and like trying to like, you guys have to get air conditioning.
And so you were going to be a ballerina.
Correct.
Like your mom, right? You studied dance and take me inside that journey. So, cause you went really far with it.
Yeah. My mom still owns the same dance studio that I started at today. We all joke, like she's almost 80 and we're like, don't you want to just travel? Like my brother and sister and I, we all have kids. We're like, don't you want to retire and just be like, you've got 9 grandkids. Like, come on. And she's like, no, this year I'm doing Gaité Parisienne. Like, she's like she just...
She's
fabulous. She still teaches and she is amazing. So I grew up dancing and I'm not as tall as my mom.
How tall are you? I'm 5 feet.
I'm just under you. If I'm
right
being
there.
Completely honest, I have to say I'm barely 5 feet. So I'm a little under you. Yeah. But
truth be told, I might be too. I'm around there.
When anybody asks me, I just go, I'm barely 5 feet because I don't think I'm actually 5 feet. But I don't care. I feel great.
This is one thing that I'm teaching my kids. And when I kind of look back at my career, sort of the art of the pivot. And so here you are, you're on one trajectory, you're going to be a dancer. And then what happens?
I gained 40 pounds on a dance scholarship in New York City.
I told you we'd be best friends. Yep.
Yeah. I just boom out of nowhere. I also couldn't even really afford food. So I was like, how is this happening? I ate like a lot of bagels with mustard and tomato in New York City.
Well, do you remember back in the day? Because I gained 30 on road rules in my 20s and I lost my neck. And again, at 5 feet,
I have no neck.
With weight. Yeah. No neck. It was head. And the producers on the show were like, the little one is putting weight on by the buckets. And I was like, what's up? And so, but do you remember, Trace, back in the day, it wasn't about fat. You didn't want protein. It was fat free. So I'd be like 3 bagels, bring on the rice, hold the protein. Yeah. You know what I mean? Baked potato,
totally.
like no fat.
Totally.
And,
yeah. It was all like, and I used to love those Entenmann's like fat-free cookies and stuff.
You could eat the whole box. They were fat-free.
Like
Snackwell?
Fat-free frozen yogurt. Yeah. That was really evil. I think that's what did it to us, actually.
No.
They lied to us.
Because we are around the same, and it was that time, and everything was fat-free. So we just ballooned
Early
up like
90s.
a giant tick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally. That's exactly it. So anyway, the fat-free lie got to me and ruined my life.
Oh, so great.
Ruined my life. No, but I went to school with like Jason Mraz and Jesse Tyler Ferguson. And I was still kind of shy there because, there was such talent and they made us like act, sing, and dance. And I really only felt confident dancing. And then I gained the weight. And then I was like, well, now I don't feel confident dancing anymore.
I look back and I think about it a little bit, Tracy, especially with my daughters. Even when I was probably 35, same with you, heavier than I am
Yeah.
now. And I remember putting on my pants and being like, ooh, they're a little snug,
Yeah.
but I was like, Mama's going to have fun tonight. And I sort of, my body just sort of evolved to where it was supposed to be. So I always tell my daughters, like in college, I'm like, please come back beer fat swollen. Like you're in college once, like your body's going to go through all types of things.
Yes.
So I want kids to learn that their body's going to go through tons of different stages.
Well,
on
listen,
that.
any kids that are listening or parents that have kids that are listening to this episode, let me tell you, the one thing that I love the most about that moment for me is I loved myself still.
Yep.
And I still felt at my core happy. I leaned into the people that didn't care about what I looked like or what I weighed. And it expanded my mind and opened me up to other possibilities and also made me aware that it's actually really cruel what they do in dance programs and anything in the world that says that, like, okay, you want to do this, here's the checklist for this, and by the way, you have to look like this.
There's the checklist.
And if you don't
Yep.
look like this, then good luck to you. Like, you're not going to be.
You just nailed it too. I think as parents, what we could do, looking back at that time in my life, my mom, my dad, my brother, nobody made comments about it, which I think maybe would have changed how I felt. So I just thought I was as darling as ever. You know what I mean? Again, the no neck and the giant head, here I come.
Yes, absolutely. But also, I feel really bad because a lot of my friends, like, they did drugs or they had eating disorders, and it's very easy to feel like there's something wrong with you and that you need to go to some kind of extreme measure. If you have a tendency to do that and you're vulnerable, it can happen. So I think that to get help from people, anybody that you get turned to for advice that says that you need to be a certain weight, those are the people you don't take the advice from. You find the people that will help you find your way through feeling good in your body in a healthy way.
I love that. Find the ones with the Intamins.
Oh my God.
I'm teasing. Okay, so there you are. It's time for a pivot in your life. How old are you when you start the Tracy Anderson Method? Like, give me the first steps.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So when I was pregnant with Sam, his dad played for the New York Knicks and he was rehabbing his back in Puerto Rico. And I met this extraordinary doctor who had done all of this research on pro athletes and their spines and keeping them out of injuries. I worked with him because I was so good at choreography. Choreography has always been my strong point in dance, which I kind of loved leaning into that too, because it meant that I didn't have to be the performer that was like, that didn't have the body for it, but I could create. And so I learned from him, and then I was coming up with movements, and he was like, wow, gosh, you really have a knack for this. And I was like, if this is possible for the inner spine, like by way of tending to it and coming up with these different kinds of movements that incorporate it in this way, is it possible to create this kind of balance through the whole body? He was like, yeah, but no one's ever going to come up with that much movement, because there are mechanisms in the body that if they're not utilized all of the time, they basically get desensitized, and they're important to our actual relationship with ourselves. And they get also drowned out when you move the body in a very conventional way. And when he served me up that challenge, I never looked back.
How old were you when this was happening?
I was 22.
Oh my
22.
Gosh. You're like a doctor, therapist, like you have all these things going on in your brain that no one had thought about doing, probably didn't believe in it either. Like you said, no one's going to be able to come up with this. How would you describe what the Tracy Anderson Method is?
Right. It's creating balance where there's imbalance in your body, which is a constant tending to. It is like every experience that I create is for you to be closer to your home, your body, your center. And it's also for you to actually meditate through your whole body. And because the thing about meditation is meditation focuses on the breath, but it leaves out 99% of the body's lived experiences or its journey or its feelings or what it's having to say. And with the Tracy Anderson Method, it will be impossible for you to not hear your body as you hear your mind. And there isn't anything else in the world that is able to do that. I love yoga. I have a great respect for yoga, but they didn't have the understanding and the science that we had when I was 22 even. So every single week when I create choreography for the online studio and the mat, that is a journey of mobility, neurobiological connections, emotional connection and expression, me knowing how to design your muscles, because that I know how to do like the back of my hand, keeping the relationship between your muscles and your skin tight as we age, which becomes more and more challenging. I'm obsessed with that because why not? And then protecting our joints, protecting our spines, being able to work and expand through all of the things that become compressed over time so that we can, really live our fullest human potential. So there's that, but in a very forward thinking kind of pioneering way. I care very much about our environment, and I care very much about being able to use different planes for the body. So I created this thing called a My Mode. And then most recently I created an experience called Heartstone, which creates sound healing, grounding, slow movement, and meditation. It's so incredibly powerful. For me, the thing that's always the most difficult is, oh gosh, how do you explain what Tracy Anderson just did? How do you make the weird look normal, right? So that's always the most challenging for me.
Well, I love that you've really slowed down as you're getting older. We haven't even talked about your magazine, your podcast, everything. How do you stay motivated? How do you constantly come up with the next thing? Is it all an evolution, or like right now when I'm looking at you, what do you got cooking up top there, Tracy?
You know me so well.
I know you so well. What's cooking up there?
Gosh. I have this extraordinary community of women in 53 different countries that have been moving with me for 20 years. And so for me, I listen to my audience and I do these calls with them that last like 7 hours sometimes. So I with the My Mode founders, I do these like 2 times a month, I'll do a call. But that's where I get most of my awareness and creativity, because I'm so well studied for 20 years in this, to use my expertise to say, this is what they need. Heartstone completely came from me hearing so many they do the moves, they've got the results, they've got the body. And now they're like, I'm seeking something so much deeper. And I'm like, yes, you are. Yes,
that's
you are. And you should be. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to brag about you, and for our listeners that aren't aware of you, which will be very few of them, but just for our listeners out there, you have trained some of the most iconic women that go by one name. Guys, I'm talking J-Lo, Madonna, Gwyneth. But what I love about this, bragging about you, Tracy, is not only the women you've trained, but the longevity you have with them, because that shows substance. Like, you are in their life. What's been the key to maintaining all those wonderful relationships? Because that's a tribute to you, my friend.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Madonna and I don't speak anymore.
Okay, X her out. Go to Gwyneth and J-Lo.
I see on her Instagram, she still has my bands hanging up, and I wish her the best. I always wish her the best in the world. So, but we don't hang out anymore. But Gwyneth, we were just together in the Hamptons, and I really believe that when people come into your life anytime, and you're a really pure-hearted, good person with a growth mindset, that the people that are like that as well, and they're really truly like pure-hearted and well-intended, and they like to grow and seek, that you can get through anything together. And my relationship with Gwyneth is one of those relationships that makes me trust. It makes me trust. It makes me believe in the good in the world. It makes me feel safe on the journey that we're all on, and that there's a real sisterhood that persists. And we've just been through so much together. We've learned so much together. And we have always had a pure love for each other. And she's extraordinary. And Jennifer Lopez has also been a friend of mine for so many years. And again, another incredible woman, such a force, such a beautiful mother. And I just think that's the key, is we all go through so many things. We all go through so many ups and downs. And when you're somebody that is willing to amplify so much of you to so many people that you will never really even probably meet, and to still have your feet on the ground and be a loving, amazing person, it just makes you believe in like just the good and beautiful things in the world. So
I love that. Wait, I want to get back to motherhood as I hear Penny clucking back there. Did you always want to be a mom?
I always wanted to be a mom.
Same. Okay, in your podcast, The Longevity Game, you spoke with Dr. Shafali, the leading authority on conscious parenting. I was really intrigued by your conversation. Can you talk a little bit about that for our listeners?
Dr. Shafali is brilliant. I have so much respect for this woman. And anyone that is going out and calling bullshit on the checklists and systems that have been imposed upon us and probably built with good intentions some of the time, but they have to be dismantled for our health, for our children's health. And people are so afraid to go against their checklists. They're so afraid to go against the norm that if people stay afraid of doing that, then we will not evolve healthier. In fact, with all of the tech now and all of the distractions to our actual primal right and genome, we will be gone. The environment will still be here. Like, I'm not trying to be a fear monger or anything, but the environment will still be here, but we will not be able to survive if we are so checked out. And part of this with conscious parenting is parents just live through their children and they live through their ego with their children. My child, oh, my child will look like this, or your child's throwing a fit and you're like, oh my gosh, don't you act like this. Don't you act like, you're going to make me look like a bad parent. It's ridiculous. And I have always intuitively parented very similarly to her concept, but always felt like I was like a hippie parent or something, right? I nursed both of my kids combined 8 years. I mean, they're far apart, but I nursed Sam for 3 years and Penny nursed for 5 years, right? I am all about.
Did you get shamed for that? You hear that all the time.
I was shamed for it when she was nursing. People were like going to have an intervention. I'm like, listen, it's only at night. I want her to wean herself. I'm like, I just want her to wean herself, like, period. Back off. It feels right in my nature. I don't know. But this idea that your child has to finish things, or you started soccer season, you'll finish it. Like all these, I don't parent like that. I'm like, you want to play soccer, play soccer. I'm like, you don't want to play soccer anymore? Let's talk about why you don't want to play soccer. Let me hear the reasons. And if it's because like a child hurt their feelings or a coach hurt their feelings, then I believe it's like our job to advocate for growing the coach, right? I'm the parent that will be like, oh, the coach made her feel this way, or she never got, this didn't happen. Penny doesn't play soccer.
Yeah. No.
But I'm hypothetically saying like the things that I would do, right? Because part of why people get distanced from their bodies is because of these coaches and things that don't play the kids or tell the kids like, oh, you're not really built for this, or the parent will. It's all these ridiculous things.
Back to the checklist.
I would go up and I would grow the coach. And then I would ask her to try it again. And then if she really didn't want to do it, I'd let her quit. So I let them do their things.
How were your pregnancies? As I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, please tell me, I feel like you went au naturel and just pulled the baby out.
Oh gosh. Oh, absolutely not. So with Penny,
I asked for an epidural before I got in the hospital. Like, ma'am, you have to actually come into the building. I just was so scared of pain.
Oh, you and I are exactly the same. Well, I did go in with Sam. I was like, I don't want anything. I'm going to do it. At 3 centimeters, I was like, give me that thing called an epidural. They're like, you need to wait until 4. I was like, I'm not waiting until 4.
Same. We're tiny.
We're tiny. Yeah. So with Sam, I gained 60 pounds. I ate like the edge pizza from Pizza Hut and Dairy Queen like every day. But this was before my nutritional like philosophy changed. I was 22 and I was like, give it all to me. I had to be induced with him. And then with Penny, I gained 38 pounds, but I had to have a C-section with her. So it was a scheduled C-section. I got gestational diabetes of all things because of stress.
I did too.
That's crazy.
And that weird, and you and I are the same, like healthy. I had that and I had 3 C-sections. My body just wasn't a fan.
Yeah, no, I did the first one naturally, but I had to have a 4th degree episiotomy and they were like, you can't heal from that twice. So they told me I had to have a C-section because of that. And she was like, with the gestational diabetes too, let's just like do it. So anyway, but this is the one thing that's so funny. I'm like looking at my shirt that I have on. This is the one thing about me as a parent. I am a
safety patrol.
I am a safety
Is that real?
freak. That's the one thing I am. My kids cannot do dangerous things. I am a safety fanatic. So that is one thing. Yeah. They can be whatever they want to be. They can take whatever they want to take.
But they have to be safe.
I have zero expectations of them. I don't give a shit if they go to like Yale or anything like that. I don't care about any of those things at all. They have to have kind hearts.
Kind hearts.
And be loving, respectful. Or you know what? If they're not going to be respectful, the world will show them. But
yes, or you will show them. That's the
I will
thing.
show them.
Okay, wait. Let's talk about love.
Okay.
Is it true, Tracy? Were you proposed to 9 times?
Oh my gosh, how did you hear that?
I do my research and I was like, please let this be true.
It's true.
And can we go deep into this?
It's true.
Tell me everything.
It's true. Well, here's the thing. One of my best friends, Sally Pressman, she once told me when I was dating somebody and she was like, and I was telling her, I was like, but we have such good chemistry. And she was like, Tracy, you could have good chemistry with a tree. She was like, you have to stop like falling in love and getting engaged off of chemistry. She was like, you're a physical person. She was like, this is like your thing. Like, so you can't, that's not it. So she really opened my eyes years ago to like, yeah, maybe it's not the physical chemistry that should be the thing.
All the producers here in the Coop were like, she must have a magic woohoo. Like this woman is magical from top to bottom.
Well, it's true. But you know, in Indiana, they start proposing young. They start proposing young. I was proposed to 3 times before Sam's dad at 22.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Did you keep all the rings?
No.
Tell me okay. Cause you were so young then. What was the wildest proposal story? Was there one that really sticks out? And did you see them all coming? You're like, oh, here comes Jack.
Actually, okay, I'll say a very sweet proposal because this person was really a sweetheart. So I just like if they're listening or whatever, I'm like really, really, truly kind soul. I love Garth Brooks, and he proposed to me like at the Garth Brooks concert.
That's so sweet.
And I was like, oh my God. You know, Garth Brooks music is like, oh my gosh.
Was there one proposal that was like really dippy that you're like, okay, this one was a little weird?
Yeah. One person proposed to me without a ring and then proposed to me again with the ring like later. But it was like kind of really like rushed and shocking and like it just felt like he just was like, I need to propose right now. And then I'll fix it later with the ring. And then later proposed to me in a sweet way with the ring.
One thing I love that I'm learning as we're talking is that you're very connected mind, body, soul. Yes. So when I think back to your divorces, which anybody that's been through it will know, it is one of the hardest things you'll ever go through. True. What was the moment, the aha moment for you where you knew like, okay, I need to get out of this? And now, a word from our sponsors. Hello, Coop listeners. This episode of the Coop is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy app. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. I got to tell you, there have been big moments in my life where therapy was really essential in my growth. And what's amazing about BetterHelp is that it's entirely online and designed to be convenient and flexible to suit your schedule. We've all got crazy schedules with work, kids, life, etc. Wouldn't it be amazing to get your therapy when you want it without ever leaving your house? These are licensed therapists, and all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with the right therapist. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/thecoop and get on your way to being your best self. All Coop listeners will get 10% off their first month. Again, it's betterhelp.com/thecoop, betterhelp.com/thecoop, THECOOP. Here's to BetterHelp. Hey everyone, I'm a jeans girl, and if you're like me, you need to know about Blue Delta jeans. Blue Deltas are custom fit for your body type. You send in your measurements and they custom fit them to you. I've truly never had jeans that fit me this perfectly, and honestly, it's been a game changer. Their easy measurement process to get your custom fit and their unique hand-sewn jeans are the best you can get. You will not believe how great they feel. Blue Delta jeans should be your go-to. I'm completely obsessed with their incredible custom vintage jeans that come in straight, and flare styles. Trust me, you will live in them. Go to BlueDeltaJeans.com and enter the code COOP20 for 20% off your new perfect jeans. And now, back to the Coop.
This is a great question. I think that one of the systems that we have to, as women, really not subscribe to is that we have to be married, or that we can't get divorced, that divorce is somehow a failure. I disagree with all of those things. I think that, first of all, I have been in healthy relationships that just ended. They just ran their course or their term. And I think that, life is precious. And as long as you do things properly, and also you're going to be learning too. Like with Sam's dad, we never should have been divorced. We loved each other so much, but my dad cheated on my mom and I caught him cheating twice when I was 17 years old. And so,
wow.
And in Indiana, it was like, they took us to therapy and the guy gave us vitamins. Like that was therapy. That was therapy in Indiana.
You're cured.
He was like, are you guys taking vitamin K? And he gave us some liquid vitamin K. And I'm like, in my gut, I was like, this doesn't seem like
something doesn't feel
not the help I thought we were going to get. Right. So unfortunately, Eric, Sam's dad, had to deal with my immaturity in terms of not knowing how to deal with the breakup of my own parents, right? So the only reason why Eric and I didn't make it was because of me, because I didn't have the therapy that I needed. And I also had a lot of, Dr. Sadi calls them misidentifications, right? So because I wasn't able to identify and have closure with my father over here and learn how to align myself with that the best I can and work through it with Eric, instead I misidentified a lot of things from my father and placed it unfairly onto Eric, and then just was playing out in my head that he was somehow going to become my father, which he never would have done. He was a gem of a man.
Aww.
And so I messed that up. And so sometimes I think that because I messed that up, that the world was like, I'll show you what bad men look like. So I do know what bad men look like. And unfortunately, and I've been in abusive relationships, and emotionally and physically. And
wow.
The one thing I can say about myself that Dr. Siddiqui said this to me. He said, if you didn't do what you do for your job, I don't think you would have been able to get out of these things or survive them. And because I am connected to my body, and I do have I'll pick up any animal wounded on the side of the road kind of heart, right? I have this bleeding heart, and I love to connect and I love people, right? So as soon as I found myself in any abusive relationship, I was never of the mind that I want to stay and I will fix this. I was just like, how do I exit safely? I don't want to be in this. The Maya Angelou saying, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Believe it. Yep.
My gut was always but somehow, and this is something that abusers really do, they find a way to entangle themselves kind of deeply into your world to create further fear. And so I had to get out of some very, very, very difficult situations with different people that I was in a relationship with. And I always just tried to do it with a loving heart, where my side of the fence was clean, kind, and couldn't handle playing in that arena, I couldn't do it.
So applaud you navigating those relationships, and even just toxic relationships, the different sorts of abuse. I see so many friends in them, and it kind of becomes the norm, and then you can justify, or you say this, or there's all the reasons. So again, that's the connection you have with your body that's guiding you, which has led you, my friend, to your current love that you said is different than all of the others. Tell me about your new love.
Yes. Well, I think I got it right the first time, and I got it right the last time. I think I got it right.
That's the bookend.
My bookends are they're just perfect for my soul. But that's part of working on yourself, right? And only recently able to forgive myself for failing with Sam's dad, who was an amazing man. I think that's what women need to understand is if you just repeat bad mistakes and you don't work towards pure awareness, you don't work towards a sense of self-love, then you will just make the same mistakes. And sometimes, you can check all the boxes where you're like, I'm not making the same mistakes. I've really, really, really learned. I've grown. I've worked on myself. I know this is different, or I've got this. And people can just be disappointing.
Yeah.
When I was set up with my current husband, I didn't want to date anymore. The last breakup was so difficult for me. It rocked me so deep to my core that I felt like in my life, I looked towards all of the things that I have to be so grateful for. I love my work. I love my friends. I love my community. I love my children. And I'm going to just dedicate all of me to those things. And maybe when both of my children are grown, I'll find a companion, right? Even though I do believe that it's part of our human need to be in a healthy relationship with someone, right? And I have one client and she just kept talking about Chris and she was very persistent. And so then I said, I'll talk to him on the phone. We talked on the phone for 3 months before we ever met.
For listeners, do you hear that? She was not chasing. She wasn't even trying to attract. Right. This is the narrative you hear over and over.
Yes, yes, I wasn't. I really, really wasn't. And on our first date, in fact, I had a panic attack. I was not myself. And I would say also that I was kind of rude because I wanted to find the red flag that had to be in him on night one so I didn't have to be bothered. So I was asking him like a lot of questions about I was like, I know, okay, this is a non-starter and this is a non-starter. So I was like sort of quizzing him like this. And so then I texted him, being the kind person that I am, saying like, thank you so much. Maybe next time we could meet like for a t-shirt and jeans for lunch. And then we literally walked New York City for 3 hours together the next day. We've been together ever since. And he lets me have a lot of animals. So it's all good.
Which I love. Now, in my mind, Tracy, and you do not have to answer this, but in my mind, you have sex like 9 days a week. Like you are just a sexual dynamo. You just seem so healthy and vibrant. Are you somewhere in the middle with that?
So I like to make love. I like love. I like connection. I like, I'm not a performer.
Couldn't agree more. None of us want to be performers, but I imagine your method of true connection with your body has to help with intimacy.
But when you know your body, when you do know your body and you're connected to your body, 9 women out of 10 come up to me and tell me that my workout has improved their sex life enormously. Enormous. They're like, even before it changes their body, they're like, I enjoy sex so much more. Yeah. And my sex life has improved. So for me, really, it's
by the way, what a compliment. Yeah. That might be the greatest compliment of all time. Totally. Okay, let's play a little game, Tracy. Let's get random. What scares you?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Gosh. Not being preventative.
With everything.
Well, I knew that Sam's dad didn't look right when we were in Indiana for Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving before he passed. And he was misdiagnosed with pneumonia, but he was really having heart attacks. And, but at the same time, Penny's biological father had seizures from his brain tumor. And I was like dealing with that. And I remember looking across the room at him going like, he doesn't look totally right. And I challenged him a little bit and he was like, I'm on an antibiotic, it's fine. And so like, I think for me, when you have the opportunity to save someone or to be preventative and you're not preventative, that scares me the most.
Oh, it goes with your shirt. You're the patrol for everything, Trace. I love, you're the health patrol. Switching gears. What does your family make fun of you about?
Well, my brother growing up made fun of me because I have 2 different thumbs. So he
What do you mean?
He would make fun of my thumb. I have.
What's the difference?
Einstein. Do you see? Like one is
one shorter?
One is shorter, but so is Einstein. So I always remind them that, see, one is shorter.
You know what? No, one is like a toe thumb. My
Correct.
sister-in-law has that. I love a toe thumb.
Correct. One is a toe thumb.
So does my producer, Harper McDonald. She has the best two.
Oh, no way. So, yeah, if I put my hand here, I always say it's like a toe. It's like a 5-year-old's toe. So my brother used to always make fun of me on that. But my family now makes fun of me because I have to have snacks, Benadryl, water. Like if we go anywhere, even for a normal like excursion, they're like, we can live here for a week.
We can live here. It's in Tracy's purse.
Exactly.
What was your nickname growing up?
Noodle bugger. You weren't ready for that? You weren't ready
Noodle
for
bugger you're going to be your new name in my phone.
Oh my God.
How did you become Noodle Bugger?
I have no
Bugger.
idea. My dad gave everyone the cutest names, and mine was Noodle Bugger.
Noodle Bugger.
And he would scream it on the sides of like the sports arenas, like if I was cheerleading or anything. Noodle Bugger, Noodle Bugger. And all my friends made fun of me for that too.
I love it. My dad called me Junkyard Dog from the Jim Croce song for my grit and toughness because I loved playing sports and I was so tiny. And so, yeah,
That's
I think
actually
Noodle Bugger's
adorable.
kind of cuter than Junkyard Dog. No, I think you win. What is in your bedside drawer?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Do you have any of Gwyneth's fun toys?
I do have some of Gwyneth's fun toys. Actually, I love Gwyneth for her fun toys. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Her sex oil is amazing.
What?
That
I gotta
Coop
get
sex oil. Oh, you have to get it. It's amazing.
Especially my guys, write that down. Literally, my producers are like writing it down. Oh yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow puts out a sex oil and y'all don't have it. Come on, let's go.
What kind of research we doing over here, ladies? Let's go.
Actually, books. But on my bedside table, I have a stack of books, quite honestly, this big. Always.
I believe that. Is there one you're reading right now that I need to know about? What's at the top of the heap?
Oh, that's so interesting. I'm reading one called Enlightenment is an Accident.
Oh, you write that down, Harper? Got it? Okay. We're stealing everything. See, you're that great girlfriend I want everybody to know. And I love this about you, like so inclusive and sharing everything. Like, okay, I don't mean to sound vacuous with this next question. I'm being it seriously. What is your favorite body part?
Oh,
I love my ankles. You just had to pick. The neck's always a tough one for me. But if I just had to pick one.
I'm happy about my ankles too.
We give great ankles. Don't sleep on our 5'4" ankles.
This is going to sound like completely like ridiculous, but I really do love my whole body. I do. I love that it's balanced and it's in proportion and it's good to me and it feels good. And I really do love it all. Even my thumb.
You know what? I went on a run the other day. You know, I love to run and I got so overcome with emotion. At gratitude for my body. And I was like, wow, it got me into college. I got to have my babies. I'm 54 and I just like it. And it's not even really about the outside look. I just feel very grateful for it. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Listen up, women. Listen up. Because
Yes.
you've always stayed connected and moving. Yeah.
If you were not in the field that you were in, what would your side hustle be?
I would love to be a professor.
Wait, what was your nickname again?
Noodle Bugger.
I was going to say, you're going to be my friend as Noodle Bugger, but I kind of want to put you in as Professor.
Professor Noodle Bugger.
Professor Noodle Bugger.
Well, actually, right now, I would like to be president if Kamala's not. If Kamala doesn't become president, then I want to be president.
There we go. President Noodle Bugger right there.
Right.
What is your relationship with alcohol? Do you still like your rosé all day? Not all day, but fun rosé occasionally when it hits?
Yeah, I only drink wine. And I can take it or leave it sometimes, but if I want a glass of wine, I'm having a glass of wine. And actually, if I want two, I'm going to have two. But I love that, like, it comes from the body up for me. Like, sometimes it'll come from the mind, but then I always ask my body if it's down with it. You know, because I'm never like overriding one or the other.
Yes. I will go weeks and months forgetting. I just don't drink. It's just not in my, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, that feels really good. But sometimes I'll take a sip and it doesn't taste good to me.
Yeah, me too.
And then sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, that glass is perfect. So it's just listening to your body.
It's so true. It's so true. And I won't just drink because other people drink, but also I'm like, if everybody's delighting in it and it's like part of the experience and I'm like not feeling like it's like not a good idea, then I'm fine. You know? But totally. I would never drink or drive because I'm a safety kid.
You're a safety. She's got the shirt. Pay attention, kids. Fill in this blank. Aging is what?
Liberating.
Best answer yet. I love it. Okay, and final question for the Coop, which has been so much fun. Professor Noodle Bugger. What makes you happy?
My family.
Mm-hmm.
I really am so lucky that I just stayed true to myself and kept focused on leaning into the light. That's the thing, is I always leaned into the light. Everything that I ever went through with anybody in business I was having issues with, or in my bed that I was having issues with, I always leaned into the light. And I never put motherhood second, ever. And that has really paid off for me. And I really do have the best family. I
You
love
really do. Just love and light to you. Keep creating, keep doing everything you got cooking, Professor. And then I'll come do your class when you're out here.
Please, let's do it.
Yeah.
This has been a joy. You're really like the greatest. I get interviewed by a lot of people, and you're extraordinary at what you do.
Thanks, Trace. Well, big hugs.
Mwah.
And I will see you soon, my love.
Okay, honey. Thank you.
Bye, sweet.
Bye.
Okay, let me bring in my producer, Harper McDonald. Wow. I know we always say wow.
Wow. But it is wow.
It is a wowzer.
Yes. Okay.
I love that she says about aging for fill in the blank, liberating.
It is about liberating ourselves from all of the things that we believe that we had to do with our bodies, with our lives,
Those checklists.
with our children, with getting married. Her work is to liberate women.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she works with a lot of men too, but liberating women to embody who they are and loving who they are and being centered in who they are. I loved that word.
I love sort of the rule breaker that she is, if you want to use that. What a renegade, because she's so out of the box from her conscious parenting to the way she thinks. It just sort of taps into that every part of us that can listen to that little thing that's a little different. Like, oh, I haven't thought about it from that perspective.
And when she spoke about how we've been pulled away from our intuition. So
Yep.
from the moment that we were born, we were handed these checklists. I mean, theoretically.
Here's what you do.
Here's what you do. You go to school, you go to church, you get married, you have babies, all the things. And to give ourselves the ability to tap back into our intuition and realize that that actually is the thing that's guiding us in our life.
Yeah.
Right. And the
But
checklists
easier
are
said
bullshit.
than done, though.
Oh,
like
completely.
right? Like I've totally lived by a checklist. Like I'm a checklist girl.
Yeah.
So to hear
we
her
live
thoughts,
we all live in communities, right? And in these communities, these checklists exist. And so that, as to your point about her being a renegade, that
Yeah.
she's just like, no, you don't have to do that.
yeah, her life is so fascinating. How about engaged 9 times?
Oh
Harper
my
and I on the
God.
side, we're going, that's a magic hoo-ha.
That's a magic situation.
But you know what it's not?
for
It's
sure.
a magical being.
Right.
And she just has chemistry with
Well,
everybody. She has this way
Girl,
about
that's
her.
in that story that she told about her friend, where her friend's like, okay, being physically attracted and having that kind of chemistry does not designate you needing to get engaged. And she's like, oh, are you sure? Okay. Well, I mean, maybe. But I just love that made her giggle. That was really funny. But leading to a couple of times that she was divorced,
Yeah.
right? And the learning she had from that.
I love that she talked about, sorry, we always say I love blah, blah, blah. I got to use something new in my vocabulary here. But it was so interesting that she talks about getting the bookends with her life, right? Her first love and where she is now.
And
And,
also-
that she didn't learn enough about herself in her first marriage that she wished she'd done things differently.
Right. And she said we would still be married. And also that marriages and relationships sometimes run their course.
Yeah.
And that's actually a very healthy way to think about relationships and marriages, is sometimes there's a stopping point.
There's a stopping point.
And as long as you do everything right.
As long as you do everything right, that can be a healthy thing that
Yep.
we need to reshift again, get rid of that old checklist.
Yep.
What about her nickname, Noodlebugger?
Oh my God. President Noodlebugger, Professor Noodlebugger.
Professor Noodlebugger.
That just rolled straight off her tongue. I mean, she knows exactly what her nickname
Noodlebugger.
is. It was so cute.
I've known you for so long, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Do you have a nickname? What? Why are you pausing?
So my mom gave me a nickname I don't really understand. Ussy?
Pussy? What?
No, Ussy.
Ussy?
Ussy, I know.
What does it mean?
I don't know, junkyard dog.
I know.
I
Mine
was
is
never
so
given
bad.
the background on it. Mine didn't come from a Jim Croce song.
What?
I don't know.
Well, I'm
I
meeting
don't
your mom
know.
today.
I don't think I've ever
I'm
told
leading off
anybody
there.
that before.
Ussy? How do you spell it?
Ussy.
Ussy?
I think it's Oosie.
You sure it's
Ussy.
not USSY?
I know. Well, she didn't spell it that way. I don't know. I think we can do whatever we want
so
there.
Great.
I know, it's super funny. So the only moving on. The other thing that she spoke about, anytime anyone quotes Rumi, is it's a moment to stop and listen. And when she spoke about Rumi talks about it, when guests come to your house, you're going to get all different kinds of guests and you welcome them in. And that obviously is a bridge to challenges in life. And so she was talking about menopause in that moment, but obviously it relates to everything, right? I mean, when a challenge comes knocking at your door, you say, yes, come in.
With a smile.
With a smile. You
With
need
a
to
laugh.
greet them laughing.
Greet them laughing is
You
what I
talk
want
this.
to
I feel like that's such a philosophy of yours. So many things that in your life and things that have happened, you're just like, all right, let's roll.
You make me feel good. I don't know. Keep me
true.
laughing,
It's
Harper.
true. It's true.
Harper and I were also laughing back with her talking about aging being liberating. Harper and I did one interview early in the morning, and my right eyelid would not open.
And we did video it. So
Harper and I were dying. We're like, what happened?
Yeah.
The lid just closed the right eye.
Well, you know, it's happening to all of us.
No, I love that quote. Thank you for saying that about
Yeah.
me. And I think we should leave today with our listeners in the coop. Can we get Gwyneth Paltrow's sex oil? Was it sex
I think
oil?
we have to. And she was very disappointed. She's like, girls, how do you not have the sex oil? I mean, let's go.
Listeners,
It's
report
true.
back to us on that. Please get the oil and let us know. But
And most especially if you have not seen
oh yeah,
how incredible this woman is in her work. I mean, amazingly, she comes up with like 7 hours of new choreography every single week for her workouts. So it is constantly evolving, and she's adding new things to it all the time. The my mode and her heartstone. I mean, she's all of these pieces of the puzzle. But God, to watch her do these
okay,
workouts.
wait. Harper and I did her
That's
workout the other
inspiration
day,
alone.
and she is so awesome to look at. Like
Good.
Harper and I were looking, and she's just sweaty and fabulous, and the way she moves, and she doesn't really talk, and it's like you get in
No,
this
she doesn't speak
rhythm
at all.
at
Which is why
all.
it was so incredible to have this hour with her, because I learned so much about her. I've known about her for decades,
Yeah.
literally. And she embodies everything that she is teaching in her silent classes.
She's such a lovely human being. I'm so glad that we're friends.
Awesome.
And please take her class and tell Harper and I what you think. But if you can see us, a couple times Harper and I just stopped and stared at her.
I just stopped. I'm like, look at.
God, she's so hot.
Okay, ankle weight, back on. Let's go.
Back on. Let's go. All right. Hope y'all enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you next time in the coop. Thank you for joining us, my chickens. If you like this episode, please give us a 5-star rating, drop in a great review, and tag us at The Coop with Kit Hoover. As well, you can follow us on social media at The Coop with Kit Hoover for behind-the-scenes content and updates. We will see you next time in the coop. And remember, as my mom Bug always says, life is not a dress rehearsal. Make it count. Today's episode was produced by me, Kit Hoover, and Harper McDonald. Our technical producer is Christian Brown, and today's episode was edited by Christian Brown. Business development by Casey Ladd, and a special thank you to all of our sponsors.